Well, Arjun, I think we can't talk about the chip space this morning without talking about this AI diffusion rule. The news that came out last night, we saw a lot of these stocks bounce around. Like, investors didn't really know what to make of the story that Bloomberg first broke. This is around the rule that was set to come into effect May 15th. The Trump administration now planning to scrap this Biden-era rule. It's not clear what Trump is going to replace it with and whether it's actually going to be a positive for some of the chip makers. So I guess just in a minute, wrap up for us the significance of it and whether it's good for these stocks.
Yeah, well, the chip industry has been lobbying against this rule to be scrapped and business to resume as normal with China. I think it's very clear from Trump's first administration, what we've seen with Biden and now, that's just not going to happen. They're going to open the floodgates against China. What they have done is scrapped a rule they see as a little bit complicated at this point in time. But it doesn't mean, I think, restrictions on China are going to go. There are still concerns from the US over national security and the ability for China to procure these chips which could be used in military use cases. And so that's still top of mind at this point. But there is also this view that the US is in a race with China around AI. And in order to stay ahead, yes, it's about technological development in the US, but partly it's about stopping China's access to some of this more advanced chip-making tools, technology, and software as well.
China's never going to rely on US technology again, is it, when it comes to technology? I mean, Jensen Huang was talking about this $50 billion market and he's keen to keep on tapping it. But the reality is, after what we're seeing, no matter what the changes are, the Chinese need their own homegrown technology now. They're not going to be reliant on the super advanced stuff if they can come up with some sort of burgeoning industry at home.
And I'd argue the damage was done in 2018, 2019 under the first Trump administration. That view was there when the Canadians arrested the Huawei CFO at the back end of 2018. And when the chip restrictions on Huawei came in 2019, it's very clear the direction of travel, I think, from the US government more broadly, no matter who was in power at that point in time. And I think there was a lot of thought and work going on in tech companies at the time while I was in China in developing homegrown technology. Huawei very quickly, after being cut off from Google and other chips, started to really ramp up efforts on its own operating systems and software, its own chip technology. And so even if tomorrow the US said, hey, all chip sales are back in China, yes, China would buy the chips because they need them right now in terms of keeping a pace with what's happening in AI. But actually, the direction of travel broadly is if we can build this ourselves in China, we will. That is still a very difficult task, I will add. There are still a lot of restrictions in terms of China's access to technology and its ability to create parts of the supply chain that are critical, such as the ASML part or others. That is very difficult to replicate, and that still will be a challenge, not just now, but for many years to come.